Hello and welcome back to the channel.
Hello.
Sorry if I sound a bit croaky, I'm getting over a cold, so you'll just have to bear with me.
It might not hold up, your voice.
No, it might hear me cheering if I take too long over this. It's great to be back with you, and the Wizards have got some exciting news, which has actually been born out of some bad news, to be fair. So it's quite nice how this has happened in the way that it has happened. So I better explain. Basically, you may remember that a couple of months ago or so, we asked you about some advice about travelling to Europe. And we got, you were
so much information.
So much information, yeah, and it sounds absolutely amazing. And we were really geared up thinking, this is what we want to do. We're going to have to do this. And we were just starting to sort of compile a list of things that we needed to do. And a very helpful subscriber actually, she messaged me quite a lot privately as well and explained how if you give the dogs a rabies jab, it can actually kill them if they're dogs of a certain age or if they're not very well. And it made us stop and think. Unfortunately, especially Jazz here, who's very, very frail, it could kill her to give her a rabies jab.
We don't know how much longer Jazz has got. She's 15 plus now.
Yeah.
And we thought giving her a rabies jab would just maybe tip her over the edge.
Well, the lady who contacted me had lost both a cat and a dog, and she sent me lots of evidence as well from vets in Europe about the rabies jab and how it can affect the immune system of aged, ill animals.
And evidently, a lot of vets don't give doses in proportion to the size of the dog, do they?
It's a massive dose for a tiny dog.
You know, under a certain weight limit, they all get the same.
Yeah, one size fits all. And with how precarious Jazzy's health is, I mean, it really is. We're just not prepared to do that to her. So obviously, we're both really gutted, weren't we?
Yeah, we still want to do it, but it's going to have to wait a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, because Maya and Luna are pretty old as well.
It's a race between
them and us pegging it. No.
Yeah.
No, Graham's right, though, because we're waiting. We don't want anything to happen to our dogs. They're our life, you know. But obviously, inevitably, it will at some point, and that'll be time for us to go to Europe if we're still well enough ourselves.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were really, really upset.
But it got us thinking, didn't it? Because we had, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but we had visited what's called a CAMPRA Aire. And that gave us the idea, didn't it?
It did for this series. And basically, we put out a pilot vlog, a test vlog last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
About where did we go to?
It was a place called Goland.
Goland, that's it. In Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
North Yorkshire.
North Yorkshire. And we thought we'll just test the water and see if there's much of a demand, because, you know, for this sort of thing. And the response was incredible. So many people have said, oh, this is brilliant. This is so helpful in response to the vlog. It's just what a lot of people need, isn't it?
And I also asked permission of a couple of CAMPRA Facebook groups if I could advertise the vlog on there. And that was very successful. A lot of interest on that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's proved to be really, really helpful for people. So it sort of got us thinking over the past few days that we really need to focus something negative and turn it into something positive, don't we?
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
You know, one of the main thoughts about going to Europe was that there's lots of airs that
everyone tells us, don't they? How amazing it is.
Although it's still at its early stages, it is growing here in the UK through the CAMPRA scheme. So that's what prompted us to want to do that, didn't it?
Yes. We have lots of reasons for wanting to do this now, because I suppose in a way we're a little bit tired of always hearing how the UK is the poor relation in terms of the airs. I mean, you see the vlogs of people in Europe, and those airs are amazing, and so there's so many of them as well.
Yeah.
And it just feels important to us. We're on a bit of a mission here now to somehow bring together all the airs that we've got, the CAMPRA Airs that we've got in the UK, to enable people to really enjoy travelling in the UK. It can't be a bad thing, can it, after everything that's happening in the world, that we do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I say, I've explained a little bit. We're on a mission, and Graham's just going to give you a little bit of background now on what CAMPRA stands for, what it means, in case you don't know.
Yeah, the first time I heard CAMPRA, because I'm very familiar with the campaign for real ale, which is all about beer, and that's been going for many, many years. But a guy called Donald MacDonald had also heard of the campaign for real ale, and he decided, he was actually mowing his lawn back in 2019, and he had this idea of creating CAMPRA Airs, and CAMPRA stands for the Campaign for Real Airs, and that's how it was all born about. And that's what we're trying to bring to you now. Yeah, evidently Donald was well used to using the airs in Europe, and he wanted to create something similar. In the app Search for Sites, I think it's listed at the moment at well over 100 CAMPRA Airs. They don't all supply the same thing. Some have slightly less services than others, and some are slightly more expensive than others. But the CAMPRA group themselves recommend that any of these establishments that want to set up an air, that they all start their prices at £10. They're the ones that we're looking at the moment.
They are. So have you sort of found an average? I mean, but you say they start at £10.
Well, I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple that are £20, £25. But when you look at them, that looks more like a little mini campsite.
Right.
So I think the more you pay, it's for more services and maybe a pub on site or something and that type of thing. But generally, the airs themselves, the ones that we're interested in, are £10, aren't they?
Yeah. But we will probably try all sorts eventually, won't we? Yeah. Which is the plan.
Well, I have got an idea of, I was just looking at the Search for Sites app this morning, and we could actually do a circular route. I haven't told you this yet.
No.
We could do a circular route that takes us west round Wales and then north and then come back down.
Oh, wow.
Just using CAMPRA Airs. That would make quite a nice little 10-day trip, wouldn't it?
It would, yes. Need to get that one in the diary, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah. I think for that sort of trip, I'd want to spend 2 nights on each one.
Yeah. Yeah, we find that 2 nights works really well, unless you're going from A to B, if you're actually travelling for the fun of it, literally just enjoying it. It's always nice to have a clear day in the middle that you can go and explore the local area. And, hopefully with the money that you save for not having to go to a campsite, you can afford to go out for a coffee or maybe a meal or
a breakfast.
Or look at a museum or, just spend a little bit of money in the local community, which is kind of what we do. I imagine that to really test it, we probably will do most airs over a period of 2 nights. Then you can explore dog walks and everything else as well.
But also the CAMPRA scheme is integral to it, is finding farmers or people with a little bit of land that maybe want to earn a little bit of money and helping them set it up. There's all sorts of leaflets that the group have got that we can supply those establishments with. Yeah,
in fact, there was a place that we went to in Scotland, wasn't there? I can't remember the name of the place, but it wasn't a CAMPRA Aire, but it was a lovely air. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember.
Oh, yes, yes.
He had 5 hard standings.
No, he only had 3.
Was it 3?
Yeah, he only had 3.
Yeah, you're right, 3. And it was lovely. It was in a beautiful location. And he would be ideal, this guy would be ideal. Now, had we known about all of this back then when we visited, we would have given him a leaflet and said, please consider this because you'll get so much more business. The more people we can get to sort of subscribe to this and actually open CAMPRA Airs for people, the easier and the better it's going to be for all of us. So you might wonder why we're getting so heavily involved. Partly there is a lack of a sort of a cohesive range of videos that you can watch on it. There's lots of information out there on Search for Sites, as Graham's already explained, and sort of what I would call incidental reviews from other YouTubers and ourselves as well. But there's nothing that particularly focuses on CAMPRA Airs and sort of pulls it together in a meaningful way in film form that you can actually say, oh yeah, I can really imagine going there. That walk you showed us was lovely and I did like the look of that restaurant or whatever. When you can actually visualise it because someone's showing you round in a form of a review, that, you know, it really does help you to decide whether that's the place where you want to go and stay, doesn't it, Gray?
But if you are interested, one of the best places to start for yourselves would probably be to join one of the Facebook groups. You might have found this video from one of those Facebook groups. So apologies if that's the case. Yes, join one of the Facebook groups. There's two main ones. The CAMPRA campaign Facebook group. I think they've got over 45,000 members on that one. But there's a slightly smaller one as well, which is the rally group, and they organise rallies for individuals to go along. And they're all very friendly.
Sounds like fun. I wouldn't mind doing one of those, actually.
And you can find out lots of information about various sites.
Yeah. Well, that's something else to promote, isn't it? If we hear of rallies and that if we can get to them, then we could promote those as well.
And there's also a website as well. It's campra.org.uk. So if you want to find any information out, there's plenty of information there.
So certainly lots of food for thought for you all there. And as I say, to sort of summarise it really, it's basically this is designed to try and help you if you want to find somewhere that's cheap to park at. It's got everything that you might need. Takes you to some interesting places, particularly if you're not that big on campsites. They can be a little bit prescriptive sometimes. You prefer your freedom, then these things are for you, really. It won't stop us being Wizard in the Wild, I have to say. So any of you who watch the channel and think, oh, does that mean you're not going to go to some lovely remote places like you always do? No, that's not changing. The Wizards will always be out in the wild because that's what we do. But we will be bringing more of this into our travels so that we can share it with people who maybe don't really want to go out in the wild completely.
It sort of bridges the gap, really, doesn't it?
It does. It's like you might...
We hope it does.
We hope it does, yeah. You've got your campsites at one end and you've got your real off-grid wild camping at the other end. But in between, you've got this CAMPRA Aire system, which I think, if you're self-sufficient, just need water maybe, black waste, grey waste, and somewhere to park safe for the night, then they're ideal, aren't they, really? And we really need to promote this in the UK. You know, we shouldn't let Europe be so much better than us at these things. And the only way we can do that is by getting out there and actually trying to say, look, this is out there, use it or lose it, really.
So we want to bring it to everyone's attention as much as we can.
We do, yeah. So, I've talked enough now, but basically, if you enjoy going off-grid, you want to support the UK economy, then this is for you. But we'd love your feedback as well. We haven't really made you work hard on this vlog. We haven't asked you any questions, have we? But actually, we have got some questions for you about this. We'd like to know if there's an air that you think is brilliant and why. Put that in the comments, please. And also, if you've got any general questions about CAMPRA Airs and how they work, we'll try and find out the answers for you. That would also be helpful, along with any feedback on our first vlog that we put out there.
Yeah.
A lot of you have given us feedback, but if any of you sort of go away after this and look at it, let us know if there's anything else that might be useful for you to know. Because obviously we're just starting this out now. Yeah,
I mean, we're at the beginning of this journey, really. But one thing that I've found already is that booking these airs they almost always seem to be different. Sometimes you can email them. Sometimes you can you have to phone them up. Sometimes you have to go online and do a booking form. I think CAMPRA themselves are trying to get a standard way of getting it booked. But at the moment, you do find a lot of these airs just want to do it by a phone call or an email.
Well, they're running their own businesses, aren't they? It's not... This is the point. These are little sidelines for people that bring in a few pounds for them. They're not their main business. It could be a farm, a busy farmer, and he's just got a bit of space, or she's got a bit of space, and they just decide to do that on the side to help people. But
the CAMPRA people are working very hard with this. For example, I saw a document this morning. There is an air in Fleetwood, and that particular, we've stayed there a couple of times, haven't we? That particular air I think, don't quote me on the figures, but I think the council has made a profit of something like £27,000 in 1 year. So there are a lot of councils and places that could learn from this.
Yeah.
They don't, and of course that doesn't take into account what those people have spent in the local community as well.
It's very easy to have a negative view of campervan people because they do get a lot, well, not a lot, some of them get us a bad name, and sometimes we get blamed for things we don't do as well.
Yeah, we do. We've stayed on places before where there were 3 cars there with people just sleeping in their cars. And what are they going to do about all their toilet facilities?
And sometimes they're rubbish as well. The amount of times we've picked up rubbish that. But
it's always the campervanners that get the blame for it.
Blamed, yeah, and the dogs, because sometimes it's the dogs, but sometimes it's the people that do things on the ground that they should.
Oh, I don't want to think.
No. But the point. I forgot the point. What point are we making? We're having a moan now. We're having a moan. We should have finished this by now, but we're having a moan. But yeah, I think that if we can all kind of get behind this well-respected system and that can earn money for councils, that's what you were saying, explaining about the councils. If councils can see ways of maybe earning, I don't know, if they've got 10 spaces, £100 a night.
Well, when we went to Goland, not only did we pay the nightly fee there, but we went into the village and we must have spent £45, £55, something like that. I don't know
maybe
exactly.
More than that, because we went there twice.
Yeah.
We went for a coffee and cake the afternoon we got there. Then we went and bought a few little, things from the area.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
And then we, just silly things like jars of local marmalade, things that remind you of places, and ice creams and whatnot. And then the next day we went for breakfast. So we're spending quite a lot of money in these places. So we want to try and elevate that as well if we can. If there's a camper and there's something in the area that you can do, whether it's a pub or a restaurant, whatever, to support it.
Yeah,
let's do it. Yeah.
But yes, we have gone off at tangents.
We have, but hopefully it's given you a flavour for. We usually do, don't we? It's given you a flavour for what we're doing, and this series will run alongside our normal vlogs. We can't guarantee exactly when these airs are going to be out. These camp.
No, we're not going to put ourselves under that pressure.
No, we're not. But as and when, we will try and integrate them as much as possible into our travels, so that there'll be a visual record for you to look at and say, oh, like what's happened with our first one. I think 6 people have said they're going to go there now to the air that we've just reviewed. And that's good for the air, isn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely.
It brings them money and it's good for the community. So I think I'm going to go and put the kettle on now. We've talked enough. And
do you realise that's how you always finish a vlog?
What, putting the kettle on?
Or any video clip? Well, it's time for a nice cup of tea now.
Yeah, always. Anyway, have a lovely Easter, everybody. Give us all your input. Like we said, answer got any questions, ask away. If you've got any advice, throw it to us about your experiences with CAMPRA Airs, and we will get cracking with it all, won't we?
Yep. And a happy Easter.
Yes, we're putting this out on Easter Sunday, aren't we, 2025?
Yeah, if we don't, I'd cut that bit out.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could, couldn't you? You could cut that out, yeah.
But as it happens, this is definitely going out on Easter Sunday. So just have a fantastic Easter, all of you, whatever you're doing, whether you're travelling or at home. Enjoy.
So thanks very much.
Thanks for watching.
Take care.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us this week. If you've enjoyed our vlogs, please do consider liking, subscribing and giving us the thumbs up. Oh, and don't forget to comment. We love to hear what you think of our vlogs. And join us next time for some more adventures with Wizard in the Wild.